What's up, guys? Back here with another video for you. Today I got a bit of a vinyl update for you. It's technically 7 records, but I have 2 copies of one of them, and I'll explain that when I get to it, because you all know I don't really do that very often. But whatever. It's going to be a good round of stuff here. I'm pretty hyped on it. There's a couple of classic records, and then there's a couple of just like random stuff that's really good, I think. So let's get down to it. First off, we're not drinking a beer. I've been on a kick of these things, friggin' Twisted Teas, which are just ridiculous, but they're super good. Now throw it in. Oh, man. I don't know why, but I really like those. I forgot how to pronounce this band's name. It's what we're listening to in the background. Yeah, I don't remember. I'll look it up, and if you guys want to know what it is, let me know. I'll tell you, and I'll put it in the description. But it's a Norwegian folk metal project. The album's called Arv. Yeah, it's all in Norwegian, so that's not helpful for me. So, oh, Asmegin, A-S-M-E-G-I-N. Them Arv from 2008. Yeah, as you can see, it's like incomprehensible. So whatever. Really good folk metal. Kind of reminds me of like Managarm and like Murkgrave, if that's your style of black metal and folk metal mostly. All right, so we got a couple of bangers real quick here. I'm gonna start off with some heat. Transcendence into the Peripheral by Disembowelment. I've been wanting a copy of this forever. I almost spent way too much money on a CD copy, I don't know, last year, probably. And I wound up, like, stumbling upon this in a random record shop that I was at with one of my homies. And it's like one of those record shops that, like, they have some metal there, but this isn't the kind of stuff you expect to run up on there, you know? So if you're not familiar with this album somehow, 1993, first full-length from this Australian classic band. Well put together reissue here. Yeah, 1993 full length. They had, I think it was 3 demos and 1 EP before this. And this is a relapse reissue from 2020. Limited to 1,000 copies, which is cool. I'm not like one of those guys that's like a limitation hunter, though I tend to buy colored over black vinyl. Therefore, I tend to seek out the lesser known variants just out of the fact that I prefer the color vinyl. Speaking of, this is the Oxblood Black Merge LP variant. Very, very cool. Big fan of that. Looks really, really good. It's double LP, which is very cool. It's a long album. It does not overstay its welcome, though. This one you can see a little bit more. I don't know which LP I like more. I think I like the other one more than this one, but this they both turned out really nice. That's one thing I love about Swirls, is your copy is quite literally one of a kind. There's no like exact copy that looks just like yours. Really, really cool. So this one is like the beginnings of Funeral Doom, right? Kind of like where it started coming from, where exactly you could expect stuff like Thurgathon to go later on, which isn't far off from this. This one has got a bit more of like a death metal attack to it, as opposed to just being like Ripikolu, where it's all slow the whole time. There's some blasty parts from Ripikolu too, but you get my point. This is trudgingly slow, super heavy, pretty dark, with a really heavy death metal tinge to it, and I think that's pretty killer. Yeah, like I've been saying, man, this is something I've been trying to get a hold of for a while, so this is sick. If you like Symphony of Grief, you'll like this. If you like Symphony of Grief, you know who Disembowelment is. What kind of an example is that? Whatever. All right, another classic. I've had this LP for a while. I just haven't gotten around to showing it. I've had a big stack of records that I just haven't shown, so I've been gradually doing them. This is an EP I was on the hunt for a bit. It's Given the Axe by Lizzie Borden. Love it. Love it. Love it. 1984, first EP. First thing that came out after one demo. Nice matte finish on the jacket there. classic old school back on there. Let's see what came with it. I don't remember what came with it, dude. I haven't looked in here in a while. Obviously a poster. I'd imagine it's the album cover. No, I mean, yes it is, but it's way cooler than that. Big old poster. Lizzie Borden logo, giving the axe and the band photo. This is a really sick poster. If I had room, I would definitely think about putting this one up and framing it. I'm not a big framer. I actually don't have any framed posters in here, and there's just a lyric sheet. I didn't show you guys the ones from the Disembowelment LP. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I'm not a big poster hanger. I have one up right now, and that's just because it's signed, and it's not even metal band. Cool metal blade inserts, and then like the place I got it from was selling at the flea market, and then they put like their info in there. Really sick vinyl variant, though it has nothing to do with the album cover. There you go. You can kind of see the marble. It's like a baby blue marble with a smidge of a little bit darker shade of blue. I think it's really nice. Looks really, really cool. This is some classic American power metal, man. Traditional metal, power metal, somewhere in that general vicinity. Just on that great spectrum of 80s heavy metal, man. You just gotta love it. I absolutely do, at least. So this is just a great EP. They do a cover of Long Live Rock and Roll by Rainbow on here, which is pretty good. I mean, it's a very classic tune, so there's nothing you could say too bad about it. It is a little corny, it's a bit of a corny tune, but you know, I kind of expect that out of that tune. But that's okay, man. That is perfectly okay with me. One funny thing is my copy here, the B-side is out of order. It's Long Live Rock and Roll first, and then No Time to Lose after that. So I wonder if there's something kind of funny with that. But I also started playing this at 33 RPM, and this is a 45. And it actually sounds really good. So if you ever wanted like a good Doom record, put this EP on 33. Really good. Lizzie Borden, give him the axe. All right. This is the one that I have 2 copies of because I'm a loser. So I bought this Bespin Moon, a Binding Force LP. And I bought both variants. So if you're not familiar, first off, this is some deep dork. Really dorky. Bespin Moon is like a synth project, somewhat dungeon synth. As you might have figured out by now, it's very Star Wars themed. Looks really, really cool. I'm a big fan of how everything turned out here. Came with, I got the 2 versions because I wanted the 2 vinyl variants. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so owning this was kind of like a must-have. This is like the light side blue with the Darth Vader inner. Really sick. Really nice label on there. This also came with a killer poster that I gotta show you. And then I'll show you guys the next vinyl variant, which you probably could guess what it is. But I'll show you the poster here just because I already got it apart. So I'm a little too close to the camera to get a really good shot of it. But it's really funny. It's a bunch of bounty hunters. So it's like Boba Fett and IG-88 and Bosk and I forgot these 2 dudes' names. But they're all dressed like crust punks. And it says Galactic Scum on top. Dude, this is a 100% t-shirt every day of the week. I gotta look up and see if they did that, because that's sick. I absolutely love it. I'm a really big Star Wars nerd. I have been for most of my life, and it's only gotten worse the older I got. I didn't care for a while, and then as I turned into an adult, I have like a section of Star Wars novels in the corner over there. It's probably a good 30 books. I haven't read them all, but I've read a decent amount of these Star Wars. I've read a handful of Star Wars books, and they're all really fun, for the most part. Some stories are better than others. I tend to prefer the expanded universe over the modern Disney canon. And if you know anything about the expanded universe, you'd know that Disney kind of took a lot from the expanded universe and kind of turned it bad. You know what I mean? They kind of like took some of the stories, like Palpatine coming back and the Rise of Skywalker. They took that from a Star Wars Legends comic book from the 80s or 90s. I forgot what it was called, but yeah. Anyway, here's the other variant. It's literally identical except for the color of the LP. So I'll just show you the record. And this one I think makes more sense because it is Dark Side Red. Really great. And I say that because they put Vader on the label. I think that they should have put Obi-Wan or Luke on the other label, the blue label. Though Luke, you would have had to put you could do episode 4 or 5 Luke on there. I think it would look really sick if they did like the Hoth Luke where he's all decked out in the cold weather gear. I don't know. I'm hyped to have them, and I literally just bought these for straight collector scum purposes. The music's pretty good. It's dungeon synth with some kind of beep boopy video game influence to it, which is apparently a good adjective I thought to use for this. I do like the look of this and how it kind of looks like a toy with like a fake price tag for $1 at KB. I don't know. Really, really sick. Check this out if you haven't listened to this. If you're into Star Wars, it's good to just, it's good background music. That's mostly what I wanted that for, and I just like the collector of the Bespin Moon LP. I think it looks really good. All right, we're going to the get some real old school stuff here. Metal Rendezvous by Crocus. Really, really sick album. Picked this up in the basement of a resale store for pretty cheap, and I was really excited to get it because I will buy Crocus LPs when I see them, just because I think Crocus is pretty sick. But I don't know. I don't know a ton of their catalog. I know a handful. I think I have 3 or 4 Crocus albums now. This is their 4th full-length album from 1980. If you're not familiar, like I wasn't, this band is apparently from Switzerland, which I did not know Crocus was from Switzerland. Really cool back there. It's made to look like a police report. Looks like a speeding ticket, traffic accident with property damage. Yeah, it's really cool. I like that a lot. It's got like all the band names on it, and then like a whole list, a made-up list of stuff. Just good record, man. It's fun and it's heavy. And I know that this band started off like trying to be probably a krautrock prog band kind of ordeal, which I haven't really heard the super early Crocus stuff, but as far as I understood, after they heard AC/DC debut in '77, that's when they decided they wanted to sound like that, which is funny because like that's some of the most lowbrow rock I could think of, and I like AC/DC. Don't think that me saying lowbrow is like a derogatory thing. It's just like, it's not like Yes, which is what I think of when I think of prog. It's like Yes and Jethro Tull and Eloy and Caravan, that kind of stuff. Comparatively speaking, I'm not looking down at it. I'm literally showing you a Crocus album right now. I like AC/DC, but it's a weird transition is what I'm getting at here. But Crocus, this is a good heavy album. This is kind of like the first of their heavy metal era, I guess you could say. Got that kind of street rock, fist fight and drunken bar brawl style to it, which I do like. You know, I've mentioned many a times, friggin' like Leather Jacket and Trans Am metal, very 1980. Really good. It's a lot of fun. It's like wholesome, down home, friggin' like Midwestern Indiana high school dropout metal. I don't know what's going on with my brain today, guys. But yeah, Crocus, really, really good. Sort of catchy, but just all around fun. Good Crocus record. Here's something that's kind of sick. So this is a doom band from California. They're called Arctic. They're stoner, actually, more stoner than they are doom. They're like a super jammy doom band. Really interesting stuff. It's more of like a historical piece for me because frankly it's kind of like repetitive, and I don't know, man, I don't smoke weed, so like this kind of thing doesn't always want to hit the player for me. But the album cover is really, really cool, and it's a piece of like history in my mind because this is a band of professional skateboarders. I remember when this came out, and I was super hyped to know that this came out. It's Justin Figueroa and Don Nguyen. So Figgy and Nuge, and then the dude named Frex, who I don't know who he rode for. But Figgy and Nuge were dudes who rode for Baker skateboards when like all I did was skateboard. And Baker was like my favorite brand. Baker and Death Wish, and then like some of the Creature guys. But like that was the crew I was into, you know. A little bit of Toy Machine. Just like the dirty hash, like giant handrail skater kind of guys. And that's what Figgy is. And Nuge was like one of the old school guys in the same mindset. And then they put out this album where Nuge is playing bass, Figgy's playing guitar, and Frex is playing drums. I wish I looked up who he was in the first place. I think he's also he has something to do with the skateboarding community, but I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, so this is just like super jammy stoner stuff, kind of doomy here and there. All around, really good record to just put on in the background when it comes to, you know, your basic stoner jam kind of stuff. White vinyl that I need to brush off before I play next time. Out on outer battery. Yeah. Arctic. And I only have one more LP left, and it's just like, it's so painfully obvious. I barely even feel like I need to show it. That's why I usually put records like this towards the tail end of these videos. Sorry. Number of the Beast. Maiden. Everybody knows this album. It's one of like the best-selling metal albums of all time. But I got this from my buddy for super cheap. But if somehow you don't have your trivia down on this, it's the third album from Iron Maiden from 1982. First record with Bruce. Where is he? There he is. Youngins. Real youngins in there. I've always loved this back cover here. I think that's really, really cool. Mostly just this big, like, swirly trouble run to the light thing they got going on there. The inner is missing, which is a bummer. And then it's just a black vinyl. Good labels, though. Very, very cool labels. This is a 1986 repress. So still early pressing, but not the OG 82 press. But yeah, dude, this is my era of Maiden. I'm like a 80s Bruce guy. A lot of people are really getting down with the first two, which I do like, but the band's really forgettable in that era. My hot take is that if that was the only two things that they did, they would be like the size of Angel Witch, maybe, like at the biggest. They would have been like one of those cult following bands. So like Bruce came in and like, hey, let's invent power metal. And that's what they did, man. They did this. You take this, you speed it up a little bit, and you add some Uriah Heep influence, and you have every Euro power metal band ever. So, I don't know, man. This is where it's at. There's some really, really banging tunes on here. There's a couple things that are kind of less exciting. I don't really like the title track. Gangland is definitely a skipper. And then beyond that, it's all bangers. Dude, Hallowed Be Thy Name, The Prisoner, Children of the Damned, Invaders, 22 Acacia Avenue is like a song a lot of people hate on, but I myself am a big fan. Run to the Hills is fine. It's the hit. But yeah, Number of the Beast, Maiden. And that's going to be the whole shebang here, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Yeah, I'll be back next week. I'm thinking it's either going to be a cassette update or another vinyl update, depending on what I listen to more of this week. I got some cool death metal tapes I got to show that I've been holding on to for like a year, 2 years, a year and a half, which is just wholly unacceptable because I've just not touched them. So I've been listening through those, and I got some other random goodies I found in a used bin of tapes, and I'm about halfway through the stack there, so maybe that'll be it for next week. It's like 6 more albums I can get that in. I'm thinking out loud. That means I need to turn the camera off. I'll catch y'all later. Keep it greasy.